Imagine demoing your home cinema to a Hollywood sound professional. That's exactly what happened with the team at Wisdom Audio and how I met Andrew DeCristofaro, Hollywood Sound Editor. He just finished off the latest Bad Boys for Life movie and is the Academy-nominated sound director for the #1 Dolby Atmos demo scene ever, the movie Unbroken. I managed to take some time out with Andrew and ask him some insights on what it takes to mix and create amazing Hollywood sound and the immersive Dolby Atmos that we get to experience, not just at the blockbuster cinema release, but at home as well. You guys are going to love this. I was starstruck. Check it out. Hi, I'm Scott Rogan, founder and head designer of Rogue Home Cinema. On this channel, we look at the professional approach of building and designing a cinema room in your own home. Last month in Nevada, USA, I got the chance to check out the Wisdom headquarters, lab tour, factory tour, experiencing what is some of the most phenomenal audio product on the planet. And it's there where I met Andrew DeCristofaro, who turns out is a cinema sound god, and I just had to capture an interview of him in the short amount of time that we had. I managed to get something for you guys, so I hope you really enjoy it. It's coming up right now. Hey folks, Scott Rogan here, Rogue Home Cinema. Have you ever wondered where the real art and magic of cinema sound comes from? Well, I'm here joined by Andrew DeCristofaro.
Yep.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're here in Nevada, USA at the Wisdom Audio headquarters, checking out some phenomenal surround sound. And Andrew, you're here for a few reasons, but first of all, tell me, what is your main job?
Right.
And what does that involve?
Okay, so I'm Andrew DeCristofaro, and I'm a supervising sound editor for feature films. And what that means is my job is to supervise every aspect of the sound of a film. So much like a director hires a DP or a cinematographer for a certain look, I'm hired for a certain, to come in and give it that same flavor with the sound and everything.
Wow.
And everything from design, from the dialogue, from the backgrounds, the Foley, how it's integrated in the mix, it falls all under my purview. So anything that's you hear went through, whether I personally touched it, went through my ears and made sure it was up to what I was looking for.
So it's the final cut for sound it's your call at the end of the day.
It's the director's call.
Director's call? Okay.
Always.
He's only presented what you've put forward.
My job is to help deliver his or her vision, to the screen.
Yeah.
So I work just like I think it's easier to understand visually sometimes than sonically. Just like the director photographer would be, the director would be saying, I really want a warm feeling, I want a cool feeling, I want, whatever that may be, I need to be in tight here, because they have a vision, and so our job is to help execute that vision. They may not know how to articulate what they're looking for sonically, but usually what we look for is emotions. Like, what do you want to feel in the scene? What do you want the character to experience? What do you want the audience to experience? And then we use the tools, that we have sonically, essentially end up scoring the film, not in the music sense, but, we're still, working on evocative feelings with sound.
Yes. Awesome. And I think you mentioned, as we're hanging out the last few days, how even a door knock can be, passive, or it can be aggressive.
Right.
And all these
There's
details.
Trepidation, there's nervousness, so you literally are telling story with sound. I mean, when I first started, it was more like, okay, I see a gunshot and a car and a horse, and so you get all that stuff. It's like learning how to drive. When you're first learning how to drive a car, you're very worried about the mechanics of it all. Once those are secondhand, you're driving with your knee and you're drinking your Diet Coke and and you're like talking on your phone and whatever, doing everything you shouldn't do. But it becomes second nature. So the same thing happened is a number of years into my career, I realized, okay, that I know all the technical and the mechanics, but now I realize there's a whole nother level I need to be doing, which is really, what am I trying to say here?
Right.
And you start working with some directors who would say, I need something that pushes these two characters away here. I need something that makes them feel nervous. I need something, and you start realizing, oh, I'm supposed to be okay, and you realize you go to the next level now, and you really are crafting things, and truly affect the overall story, even on the quiet films, and those are the harder ones to do in many ways. I mean, the loud ones are fun, and we watched a little bit over the weekend.
Some action, we certainly watched some action in here.
Yep, yeah. And those are great fun, and they all have different, but the quiet films, from our point of view, are very difficult to do because everything has to be real. There's nowhere to hide. It all has to.
Wow.
And to then use sound to create emotion that you don't notice that you're being, that you're doing subtle things with. How you have the backgrounds come and go, what you're using, and subtle things really change the overall experience.
There's a theme I always have in our designs and in my racing career as well, that the magic's in the details.
Yep, completely.
It's the little things that add up, right?
100%. Yeah. I've worked with a number of people over the years. I've been doing this for well over 25 years now, and probably over 130 features that I've supervised. And one of the film editors was very old school and worked with for years, and we became good friends. But he would say, you do that one little thing with the backgrounds or the cloth movement or the thing here. He goes, but it's like putting a nickel in a jar or a quarter, and it may be a small little thing here and there, but when you mention details, he goes, but those quarters, nickels, dimes, by the time of the end, it all adds up to a great pot of money at the end. So, because which is back to your point, which is all about the details.
Yeah, and look, and if it wasn't for yourself and other people in the industry that put in, and obviously the directors and producers that are passionate about connecting the audience to the story. And we know, and George Lucas has said that, audio is 50% of the experience.
Yep. And
he says that because often people focus a lot on video.
Correct.
And he's like, no, these just as much over here. And that's why we're having so much fun at home. Is this extraordinary? Well, we're getting an extraordinary technology at home now, which I might sort of bust into that a little bit, which is the technology is available.
Right.
You guys are working with Dolby Atmos, obviously. In fact, for you guys, I might pre-frame this at the start of the video when we edit it up, but you actually were behind the Unbroken World War II fighter plane scenes.
Yeah.
That right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that because we checked it out in this room. And for all of you guys at home that are obviously tuning into this, it's like, and I think you just discovered that this week, that's like the reference scene for every home cinema enthusiast.
When we were mixing it, we spent a long time cutting it and recording the sound. We not recorded the real, planes. I mean, it was a long process to get there. But when Dolby came out, because when we get to the point of the mix process where we're print mastering, we're making the final. We've gone from all the tracks to pre-dubs to mix stems and then print master, which is the final track that gets released.
Wow.
So it goes. We keep getting down to, and so we're print mastering, and that's when Dolby shows up. And Dolby was there, and Dolby was like, "Man, this is awesome." They're like, "This is going to be part of our demo," and we're like, "Really?"
It's on. I think all their demo.
Which we're kind of you're like, "Oh, okay." We were proud of it, and we thought it sounded great, but and then sure enough, I remember walking into a local Best Buy or whatever once. And I'm like, there it is, it's playing. And I'm like, it is the demo for you.
Yeah.
And then talking to a bunch of you folks this weekend and how many people are using it, I'm like, that's awesome. It's like high praise. I mean, to me, that's like, wow. Like, to have people appreciate what we do as much as you guys, do, it means the world.
And look, it's certainly respected, but it's people are actually getting to experience that. So, obviously, at the start of your career, people are only really getting it, I guess, at the cinema,
right?
Or if you're in the studio, like in a proper place. But now people at home can appreciate the art.
Yeah.
And as you go from a mechanic and technically being correct, and then going to that level of mastery, like you were saying, then we actually do get to experience that on any day of the week at home, and all that magic, all that detail does show up.
It does, for sure. There's something about being in a proper cinema with a large group and experiencing an event that is not ever probably going to go away, but being able to recreate it at home is amazing, and to have it at your convenience and stuff. There's the I remember when MP3s came out and stuff, and people found the convenience of that was amazing to them, and I, as a audiophile freak, was a little like, yeah, but it sounds terrible.
Yeah,
you know?
the whole hi-fi industry, like iPod. Ugh.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh gosh, you know, and people were just so enamored that they could just, I have my entire record collection, and you're like, yeah, but. And now I love seeing, you know, like younger generations coming up, and vinyl is taking a comeback, and
massive,
you know, it's massive comeback, and really starting to appreciate, you know, what music can sound like again. It's almost like a rediscovery of hi-fi, and I'm like, the same thing is going, I feel, and I hope with, you know, with film sounds at home too, where it's not just a simple, you know, sound bars can be great, but you can do so much more.
Well, I guess there's a lot of premiere movie releases, you know, they're skipping the box office, and with Netflix and HBO, so the home is actually the premiere event space.
Right.
And if it is just a TV and a soundbar, you're not going to appreciate that magic.
I mean, yeah, and not the same, not to the same degree for sure.
Although we are in the wisdom cinema here, a cinema like this would be better than the box office.
I was going to say, I would do this every day if I could. You know, this is awesome.
And actually, that leads us to, I guess, why we're here. We've met at the Wisdom headquarters for some training and some experience. And so how did you find Wisdom Audio?
So being an audiophile, I love music. I love, you know, so sound is such obviously a big part of my life, both professionally, obviously, but just, you know, as just an avid lover of music and something, you know. So I've always been on the hunt for the speaker that can give me the dynamics that I want from theatrical, you know, because I'm used to working with the big JBL speakers that we mix with and giant dub stages that are in the theaters, and they're really designed to give you punch and volume and level. But if you wanted to listen to real hi-fi, high fidelity, smooth, buttery smooth, open top end, things like that, it was never, you know. So I've been on a search for at least 5 years, and actually it's closer to 6 years now, because I'm doing a home remodel and, and trying to find that speaker that can give me, and you know, and you usually have the question, well, what kind of music do you like? And I'm like, it shouldn't matter. I like it all. I like classical. I want to listen to
you want to crank it. I want to crank it. You want just acoustic guitar in the background.
You betcha. It should be able to do it all. So not many speakers can really do that. And a person I was working with said, you should go listen to these. Okay. And I made it an appointment myself, flew myself up here from LA area.
To Carson City, Nevada.
To Carson City, Nevada, to Wisdom Audio, and started listening to you know, some music. But before I came up, I emailed the person here that I was, and said, you know, I want to hear one of my movies in your theater before. And they were like, okay. And I said, play Unbroken.
I think it was Ron, and he did say he was shitting himself. He's like, oh my God.
He was a little nervous. He didn't tell me that till later. But I got to say, you know, because I was listening to the music, I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to be able to hear at home.
So musicality, you're like, got it.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Yeah. And the fact that you can hide these in a wall, or, you know, because my wife was convinced that we're going to end up with big boxes in the wall. And
you negotiated that early on.
She knew, like, that's what I do for a living. She's like, yep, okay, that's my living room is going to look like that. And then someone said, it doesn't have to. And I said, well, okay. So anyway, the music, I was like, these are awesome. But I figured, okay, it's going to be that usual. Yeah, it just doesn't have the dynamics that I'm looking for when we play the movie.
It's like so cones and domes, they just break up on.
And I said, and so I said, okay, let's watch Unbroken, and he said, is this the right level? I'm like, no, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. And he got to a level, and I go, are you nervous? And he said, a little bit. And I said, push it. But it really, and now they're playing everything at that level in here, and these things are just amazing.
So they just keep going. They don't break up. Well, and clarity.
I have to say, with these speakers, you know, when you crank them up too, there's no distortion. They're just keep going, and you're like, and we are all so used to that, the technology that currently exists out there with your traditional like you were saying, domes and stuff, like to push that kind of volume, usually you end up getting into like compression drivers on theatrical speakers and things like that, which have an edge, and and you feel that compression and that distortion and everything, and you go, wow, it's really loud. And these get so loud. We heard some stuff the other day in the listening room. Yeah. It was stupid loud, but it was clean it was so loud you couldn't believe that it was, it was so clean at those
110, 115 dB.
Yeah, which is in the danger level. Yeah. And it was clean as, it was pristine, and you're like, it's a weird
phenomenon. We're playing all sorts. We even had like Rammstein playing, and it was like
awesome.
Like to hear that level of energy and power, and the vocal was just like, I had no idea what he's saying, but it was like, wow, the articulation.
It's like there, and it was just awesome.
I guess the other crazy thing as well, like we were hearing the real big flagships in a pretty small room, admittedly, as they're still doing up some demo spaces. It still worked, and you could walk up to them.
Yeah, that's another amazing.
And being a line source design that we're using the planar magnetic drivers, you only hear the portion that's appropriate to where you are. So further back you are, the more line array or line source that you listen to. But as you walk up, so it's like the whole room sounds bloody amazing.
Sounds bloody amazing. And again, because we're not used to that technology, as you walk up at those volume levels, you're a little afraid, like, oh, this is going to be terrible, because you're used to walking up to a normal point source speaker where you're like, oh my God, it's screaming loud, and you walk up and you're like, it's about the same as it was way back there. Like, how's that possible? It's phenomenal.
And when we're designing great home cinema, and with cinemas being acoustically very small spaces compared to the commercial cinema, seat-to-seat consistency is a really big deal. Yeah. And THX always said, every seat should be a good seat, and it's certainly the target for all our designers, and it's difficult. Right. So with line source, we've got such an even spread of energy front to back, and in this cinema it's a very spoiled cinema room, because we've got this line source technology all the way around us.
All the way around.
So if we're close to this speaker, it's actually not significantly louder than the front row. Yeah. Everyone has magic.
It's amazing. Yeah. No. And the room, they've lit it up right now so you can actually see what's behind you. Normally the lights are off in the back and it's dark and it looks amazing.
Yeah. So look, we've certainly found ourselves in an amazing place for two people that love cinema and music. You're on the creation side. I just hit play. That's my specialty. But look, thanks for sharing. I know we're in a really super tight schedule. Yep. We could talk all day, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Thanks for giving all the folks at home that absolutely do appreciate everything you do.
Well, thank you for for having me, and like hopefully people will get to hear it in this kind of an environment at home.
Yeah, and look, and folks, follow as well your work and know what sort of movies and things to look into so you can continue to follow the fine work.
Awesome.
Thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Wow, so guys, I hope you really enjoyed that. For me, I just love the insights of the emotion that needs to be conveyed and how subtle the details really are in conveying that message across to the audience, and how he has to really balance what the director's looking for and turn that into the art form of sound. Absolutely magical stuff. In fact, off air, he was talking about how even the sound of a door closing could have up to 17 layers of tracks just to get the right sort of sound. So it's just absolutely magical, and it's so cool that, the better our home cinema system, the more there is to enjoy, the more there is to connect to as well. So guys, I'd really love you to show your appreciation by commenting and sharing on this one heaps. I want Andrew to see just how much impact his work, his passion, and his dedication really means to everyone at home, and that his work really does go beyond blockbuster releases, but rather something that can be enjoyed for years and years and years afterwards through Ultra Blu-ray and digital format. So guys, I really want to note, is Unbroken one of your top Dolby Atmos demo scenes as well? And what are your favorite scenes to demo? Remember, to get across more professional cinema at home, hit that subscribe button. Check out more inspirations and design detail in our website below. I'm Scott Rogan, Rogue Home Cinema, and remember, on any day, reality can go rogue.